For more, let's bring in AMAC spokesman, also a former Assistant Secretary of State. Now, by the way, he's running for governor in the great state of Maine. Did I say by the way? That'd be Bobby Charles. I may have buried the lead, Bobby. Thanks for being here. So what do you think? Some of the comments by both Keir Starmer and President Trump. Once again, Trump's on the world stage making deals.
He is. A couple things that, as I watched all of that unfold come to my mind. First, American leadership is back. He sets the stage. And, if you set the agenda and look at the difference, world difference between what's happened in the first, several months of his administration and the entirety of the Obama or Biden administration. It's just extraordinary leadership. And the second thing, and I spent 2 years living in England, I find it fascinating that it reflects an understanding of the truly historic special relationship we have with this World War II ally and long-standing. We come from them, and they are very attentive to our leadership on the world stage. I also thought the interesting thing is, I noticed that the Prime Minister mentioned that they were leaders in technology and that they had Nobel Prize winners there, and it always comes back to me, and I won't get the exact numbers right, but it always startles me when I think people don't understand that America is truly unique in the world, and Great Britain is sort of right behind us. We are unique in the world because we're risk takers. We're risk takers in the military. We're risk takers in business. We're risk takers. And so, to put it differently, America is not an accident. It is a product of extraordinary commitment and risk-taking over generations. And there's a reason why we have 409, I think it's 409 Nobel Prizes, and China has 9. We are risk takers, and we believe in the idea that business and the private sector need to be empowered, that we need free markets, and freedom is really the way in which you go forward, whether it's, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, whether it's your freedom of faith, your freedom to choose how you want to live your life and where you want to live it, and the Bill of Rights, or it's the freedom of our markets. So AMAC, of course, fights for that every day.
Yeah, it really is something to see on the world stage. I couldn't help but notice just the mere presence of President Trump is so much larger than life. Then when they both signed the paperwork there and exchanged it, I could only see President Trump's. I couldn't see anything else on that page. And you could see President Trump's probably if you were, looking pretty well from Canada. So it really is such a different moment for us in history. Do you think that it is just the election of President Trump that has changed so much of the world that they really are being sincerely respectful to him? Or is this just a show? Because many in our chat are saying they just feel like they want money. This has nothing to do, they look at the influx of illegal immigration and the Islamist Sharia law that has built itself very well there. What do you see? What's your landscape for us?
I've been around presidents, and I will tell you that I feel that what you're witnessing there on that stage is both the power of the policies and the power of the person. Not to put too fine a point on it, but sometimes a person will walk into a room, and President Trump is this person. He will walk into a room and the entire room changes because of not because of the power or the title, but because of the authority and the strength of the man. That was true of certain military leaders. It's been true of certain presidents. It's true of certain leaders on the world stage historically. When Winston Churchill walked into a room, no doubt the room paid enormous attention. I think it's the fact that Donald Trump has weathered every storm and safely found a port after every storm, whether it's lawfare or something else, assassination attempts. This is a man who is, you almost get the feeling that he's a man of destiny, that this is really something where if you fall in behind this man, the world will be led to a better place. And I think the epic moments in what we know as world history are, in my view, defined by men and women. I think that Ronald Reagan changed the face of the world by the conviction that he had that it could be done, should be done, needed to be done. And I believe that Donald Trump is doing that today. And frankly, on a much smaller scale up here in Maine, we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. And there is a sense up here that people are sick and tired of being led by bad leaders, and that they really want a turn of the page, a freshness that allows them to get their freedoms back. And again, it's the same freedoms. It's the freedom associated with our economy, which has been heavily overregulated. And I noted all the regulations being cut by President Trump. It's the fact that our safety, our public safety. I was just up at the northern border and will be again. It's our public safety that's under threat, illegal aliens and drugs. And so here's a president who is literally walking the walk. He's talking the talk. He's doing what he says he will do. And by God, we love those people.
Bobby, you mentioned that you were at the northern border, so I do want to switch a little bit and talk about what you experienced at the northern border and talk about some of the challenges you see there at the northern border. Obviously, your state is there. And I asked that question in the context of so much of our focus are the problems at the southern border, but there is a northern border where there are also people coming across illegally.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I guess my concern, and whether it was Reagan or other experiences, I was always encouraged to look around corners, try to anticipate what's going to happen next, and it's the best way to live. And so, our southern border, we're doing great things. We're shutting it down, and we're feeling a greater sense of safety. President Trump is doing things I never imagined any president would do, which is to actually go after the fentanyl traffickers with a vengeance. Well, it's like the balloon theory, right? If you push here, it's going to come out over there. And right now on the northern border, having just been at 3 spots up there, the northern border is really, it's the next big war zone. And I think we have to be aware of that. And so I spent time with CBP and DEA, and I'll spend some more time, no doubt, in the future, trying to understand what they need, what they don't have, the penetration. I won't go through all the facts here, but we've had significant penetrations. They've been big. And so I think we just are trying to protect.
Bobby Charles, great insight as always. Love having you on, especially in breaking news situations, because I believe you're the utility player in baseball. You can play all positions. So we appreciate. We appreciate.
I appreciate that. I try.
All right. Today at shortstop, Bobby Charles.